nonsense went down, you know, the the nonsense that started in like 2019, auto loan delinquencies hovered at around 2 to 3%. Yeah. Today that number has exploded to nearly 25%. So 2 to 3%, which is like right here, and it's at 25%. The housing market, the repo market is, if you're in the repo business, times are good for you. I had a dealership owner confirm this, my best friend's cousin, and the car lease market confirms this, that the repo market has absolutely gone bonkers into outer space. The housing market is always right behind the car repo market. I don't know which countries are going to get hit worse, but the housing market is about to fold up like a cheap card table. This always happens. Everybody on live stream has been talking, and I watched it. And when I watched it, I didn't know the former president, Obama, actually wrote the movie. It was really horrible. It's called Leave the World Behind. And I don't say this as an indicator of anything. It's kind of a humorous thing. Anyway, the Leave the World Behind movie that was written by the ex-president, Obama. There's the intro where there's a lunar eclipse, not a solar eclipse, but a lunar eclipse. That's where the Earth gets between the sun on the moon. So it's the imaginary video on the moon is showing a lunar eclipse, and there's a whole list of them in 2024. But how do we know that it's the September the 18th? Because at the end of the movie, it shows the end of the world is at September the 18th. So the first end of the movie and the second end of the movie.
COVID started. COVID-19 is nothing more than AIDS 2. All right?
How many of you read my book, Behold a Pale Horse? I would assume that at least some of you have. In there, I made a statement, I started to say, for which I was ridiculed and chastised and called a nut, but I was called a nut and ridiculed and chastised for everything that I wrote in that book. But I wrote in that book that the New World Order, the utopian socialists consider violent tendencies to be genetic, and that they would identify people who have these violent tendencies, and they would collect their genealogies, and sometime in the future, all of these people are just going to be wiped out right off the face of the earth, and that they would be collecting genetic samples and genealogies. Well, everybody said, "You're nuts, they're never going to do this." Well, I wasn't nuts, and I'm not nuts. What I said was absolutely correct. It's true. You can look for a law sometime in the future that will mandate that doctors take tissue samples and turn them in to these genetic databases on anybody who has any kind of contagious disease. And they'll say that the reason is to find out if there is a predisposition to contagious diseases, and they want to have this on a database so that they can know what segment of the population is going to be infected by swine flu in the year 2020, etc., etc., etc. You watch. It's going to happen. Just like what I wrote in my book years and years and years ago and have been warning you about is happening right now. And don't sit there and shake your head no. People who have a tendency to say that I don't know what I'm talking about usually end up eating their own words. No salt, no pepper, no sauce. They don't taste very good. Because I don't say things lightly. I've been studying these people for more years than I even care to imagine. I know more about them than anybody on this earth outside of their own body politic. We've run out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's been saying, well, we don't have to worry about it now. We still got a few years before anything happens. Bye. Bye. Oh, bye. Bye, 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 bye. That is famous last words, maybe? Listen to me carefully. We've run out of time.